A fast-moving object the size of Manhattan is hurtling towards our solar system, and it will make its closest pass to Earth on December 17th. Comet, asteroid, or something else?
Something strange is racing through our solar system, and even NASA is admitting it doesn't add up. Meet 3I Atlas, an interstellar visitor that looks like a comet but acts like something entirely different. Instead of trailing behind, its tail behaves more like a set of engines, giving it a mysterious push forward. That shouldn't be possible. Comets just don't do that. And yet, here it is, defying the rules of space and leaving scientists with more questions than answers. Is this just a bizarre natural phenomenon, or are we looking at something designed? Normally, a comet's trajectory curves under the influence of gravity. That's how celestial mechanics work, but not this one. 3I Atlas seems to be cruising almost in a perfectly straight line, as if it's shrugging off gravity's pull. And then there's the weirdest part, its tail. Instead of trailing behind like every other comet we've ever seen, its tail looks like it's actually pushing it forward. That doesn't make sense, right? It's like the comet has its own built-in engine. Even NASA has admitted they don't have an explanation for this behavior, and that's the part that makes everyone uneasy. Because if it's not acting like a comet, then what exactly is it? The deeper astronomers dig into this mystery, the more unsettling it becomes. The closer we look, the more questions pop up, and the possible answers keep getting stranger. Here's the thing about comets. They've always followed the same basic rulebook. They're basically big dirty snowballs made up of rock, dust, and ice. As they swing closer to the sun, that ice heats up and turns to gas. The result? A glowing tail that always points away from the sun, blown by the solar wind. But 3I Atlas isn't playing by those rules at all. Instead of trailing, its tail is acting like thrust, literally pushing the comet along in its journey. NASA has gone on record saying this push is giving the object a kind of non-gravitational acceleration, something comets simply shouldn't have. And it's not just a tiny nudge either. This isn't some insignificant effect that scientists can shrug off. It's a steady force that is actively altering the comet's path as it travels through the solar system. That's the kind of thing that really gets researchers scratching their heads. Think about it this way. It's like watching a sailboat somehow move straight into the wind without any sails. It just shouldn't happen according to the laws, and yet here we are, watching it happen. Now here's where things start getting even crazier. The James Webb Space Telescope, with its insane ability to peek deep into space, turned its eye toward 3I Atlas. What it found has only made the mystery deeper. The comet's chemistry is completely out of whack compared to what we expect. For starters, it's got a carbon dioxide to water ratio of 8:1. To put that into perspective, for most comets we've studied, the balance is nowhere near that extreme. It's like discovering a desert that has more oases than sand dunes. It doesn't make sense. And then there's another bizarre detail. Atomic nickel vapor in its coma, which is the glowing cloud of gas around the comet's core. Normally, when we see nickel floating around in space, it shows up alongside iron, since the two are pretty much inseparable buddies. They're forged together inside dying stars and usually travel through the cosmos as a pair. But here's the kicker. 3I Atlas has nickel without the iron. That just doesn't happen naturally. The only place we see pure nickel separated from iron like that is here on Earth, when we refine metals through human technology. So this begs the obvious question. Are we looking at some new natural process we've never seen before? Or is this hinting at something far more advanced, maybe even engineered? If all this sounds eerily familiar, that's because it is. Back in 2017, astronomers spotted another oddball interstellar visitor, Oumuamua. It was this cigar-shaped rock tumbling through our solar system, and just like 3I Atlas, it broke the rules. Oumuamua also sped up in a way we couldn't explain, what scientists call non-gravitational acceleration. The big difference is that Oumuamua didn't even have a tail, no visible gas venting, no comet-like outgassing at all, and yet it managed to accelerate as though something invisible was pushing it along. At the time, many people thought it was just a one-off fluke, something weird we'd never see again. But now, with 3I Atlas showing the same bizarre behavior, we suddenly have a second data point. Two totally different objects, both from outside our solar system, both doing things we can't explain. That changes everything. This isn't just about two strange visitors anymore, it hints at a larger pattern. Maybe we're only now starting to realize there's an entire category of interstellar objects out there that behave like this. They could be way more common than we've ever thought, and the only reason we didn't notice before is because we didn't have telescopes like Webb or Hubble sharp enough to catch them. And here's what really makes scientists squirm. Oumuamua was small and rocky. while 3I/ATLAS is a full-blown comet with a visible coma and tail. They're different vehicles, but both seem to be running on the same mysterious engine. That's like seeing two completely different types of cars, but when you look under the hood, they both have the exact same strange motor. So, while everyone's been scratching their heads about 3I/ATLAS's engine-like behavior, the Hubble Space Telescope has been quietly doing its job, keeping a close eye on the thing. What it's found adds even more layers to the puzzle. For starters, Hubble managed to pin down a better estimate of the comet's size. We're talking somewhere between 1,444 feet and about 3.5 miles in diameter. That's not small. Imagine a city-sized chunk of rock and ice hurtling through space at over 130,000 miles per hour. But Hubble didn't stop there. It also picked up images of what looks like a teardrop-shaped cocoon of dust surrounding the comet's nucleus. Normally, we'd think, okay, sure, that's what comets do. They shed dust and gas when they heat up. And while that's true, the shape and the way it's dispersing doesn't answer the big question. Why does this thing still look like it's being propelled forward? Even with this extra information, the central mystery of 3I/ATLAS, the propulsion, remains unsolved. When you connect this with Oumuamua, it gets even stranger. Two different objects from deep space, both showing acceleration that doesn't fit our physics playbook. At this point, it's not just about one anomaly anymore. It's about whether we're staring at the beginning of a whole new category of interstellar travelers. And that's the kind of realization that forces astronomers to rethink almost everything. As if the story wasn't already bizarre enough, there's a huge moment coming up that has every scientist on the edge of their seat. In October 2025, 3I/ATLAS is going to slip behind the sun, disappearing from our view. For a period of time, we literally won't be able to see it with even our most powerful telescopes. It'll be hidden in the sun's glare like a magician vanishing behind a curtain. Now here's the kicker. This blackout happens right when the comet is making its closest approach to the sun. That's the time when it should be at its most active, with all the heat, radiation, and solar wind battering it at full force. Which means whatever strange propulsion effect it has could become even more extreme. Will it shoot off faster? Will it suddenly veer off course? Or could it just crumble under the sun's intense pull and disappear forever? This is where speculation runs wild. Because if, hypothetically, 3I Atlas was some kind of artificial probe, this solar conjunction would be the perfect opportunity for it to make a sneaky course correction. Engines could fire up, the trajectory could change, and we wouldn't have the faintest clue because the sun's glare blocks everything. On the flip side, even if it's completely natural, this is still the ultimate trial by fire. Many comets don't survive this close pass. They simply break apart. Think about Comet ISON, once hyped as the comet of the century, which just disintegrated as it got too close. So the big question hanging over October 2025 is 3I Atlas reappears from behind the sun. What are we going to see? A comet that looks the same? One that's brighter or faster? Or nothing at all? This cliffhanger has astronomers waiting nervously because the outcome could answer, or deepen, the biggest cosmic mystery we've seen in years. So after everything we've seen, the engine-like tail, the bizarre chemistry, the strange trajectory, the only thing left to ask is, what are we really looking at here? If 3I/ATLAS is natural, then it means star systems exist out there that are so alien they produce comets with built-in propulsion effects and pure refined metals. That alone would flip our understanding of astrophysics on its head. It would prove that the universe can cook up things far weirder than the dirty snowballs we've always believed comets to be. But if it isn't natural, then the implications are massive. Some researchers have already whispered that this could be something like a Bracewell probe, an autonomous machine designed to drift between star systems, listening for signs of intelligent life. In that case, its strange propulsion wouldn't just be some cosmic glitch. It would be intentional, a way to fine-tune its course and maybe, just maybe, take a closer look at us. And then the theories get even wilder. One idea floating around is that 3I/ATLAS could actually be some sort of interstellar terraforming device. Imagine a machine carrying exotic materials meant to prepare a planet for colonization. Suddenly, the odd chemical signature starts to sound less like a random fluke and more like a payload. Of course, the scariest idea of all is that this isn't a functioning probe at all. It's a wreck, a derelict starship drifting endlessly, a leftover from a civilization we'll never know. The refined nickel we're seeing could be nothing more than fragments of its hull. In that case, 3-ATLAS would basically be a ghost ship, silently crossing our solar system after an ancient conflict or disaster light years away. No matter which possibility you lean toward, one thing is clear. 3-ATLAS is forcing us to question the very foundation of our models. We've spent decades thinking we had comets figured out, but this one is showing us how little we truly know. Are we missing some piece of the puzzle? At the end of the day, 3-ATLAS isn't just some random comet drifting past our neighborhood. It's rewriting the rules we thought were unshakable. Think about what we're dealing with here. A comet-like body that seems to propel itself forward, a chemical makeup that doesn't add up, and the trajectory so precise it almost looks like it was aimed. That's not your everyday dirty snowball. We've seen hints of this before with Oumuamua, and now here it is again, even more dramatic. One strange object you can chalk up to chance, but two, that starts to look like a pattern, and patterns force us to consider possibilities that sound outrageous at first. Are we looking at natural phenomena so new and alien that our science can't yet explain them? Or are these things evidence of technology, machines deliberately moving through space, maybe even watching us? And the truth is, we're still in the dark. The verdict on 3-ATLAS is a long way off, but the speculation has already taken flight. Some scientists whisper about Bracewell probes, ancient messengers sent to scan for life. Others toss out the idea of a terraforming device, dropping materials to prepare planets for something bigger down the line. And then there's the most chilling thought of all, that this is wreckage, a ghost ship drifting between the stars, carrying nothing but the remains of a civilization long gone. The thing is, whatever explanation turns out to be true, it changes how we see the universe. If it's natural, it means the cosmos is far stranger than we've ever guessed. If it's not, then we may already be brushing against the fingerprints of intelligence beyond Earth. Either way, 3-ATLAS is shaking our assumptions and forcing us to admit we don't know nearly as much as we thought we did. So as it makes its journey and eventually passes behind the sun, we're left waiting, wondering what it will look like when it emerges again. Will it be brighter, faster? Will it survive at all? Or will it come out on a completely new path, one that raises even more questions? 3-ATLAS is a mystery wrapped in a tale of light, and whatever happens next could either reassure us or change everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos. What do you think is 3-ATLAS headed for?